Hey, hey, gang. Welcome to another Sunday Hangout. Ben here. We've got a guest this evening, Mr. Adam Reiver, proprietor of FU-TONE. If you don't know FU-TONE, you don't know tone.
I like that.
There you go. Feel free to steal it.
I consider it stolen.
There we go. So, yeah, just a little house cleaning, guys. Richie will be joining us late. He's has a pre-wedding meeting with one of the guys in the wedding party. And David Nesdall will be joining us in a little bit. He's just tied up at the moment. So, awesome. Wow, the chat is just flying here. I'm just going to quickly check that here, Adam. Always like to give shout-outs to our supporters. We got JJ Collins, R2R3 Locking Nut, Lance Moss, Zach Moon, Mark Taylor, Mitch Heyman, Mr. BHB, I think that's Bruce. Let's see who else. Some guy named Ben Coombs. I don't know who that is. Nathan Williams. Hey, Boogie. All the way from Ohio. Buddy of mine that I vacation with down in North Carolina each year. Neither one of us actually made it down this year. Awesome. Adam EVH is in the house. Dry Heat for 80. Michael James, Michael Bishop, Scott Nickerson, Jim Guidry. Wow. Awesome.
Nice turnout.
Yes.
Cool. I can't see that, so I don't know that I'm supposed to see that. But
you don't say. What I did was I actually opened up the YouTube stream as well, and then I just stopped the video, and then I can still have the chat going on the side, and then I just resize our window accordingly.
Got it.
Cool. Let's see here. So yeah, so I was following you on social media today. I saw you were spending the day in Manhattan, by the looks of things.
Yes. Today, I'm in Manhattan now. I split my time between PA and New York, so I'm constantly back and forth. Melissa's business and apartment are in the city, and FU and the house are in Pennsylvania, just about an hour away from here. So
nice.
constantly up and back. It is the best of both worlds. But yeah, I was with my nephew today on that post.
Okay.
So my nephew is 14. And he started playing guitar. And, you know, at the beginning, like a couple of years ago, he was dabbling a little. And then as he stuck with it, I gave him a little, I didn't want to like force it on him. So I would give him a little more, Last time I went down there, we went to Guitar Center and I bought him a new Jackson. So it was a Jackson and an amp. And then I got him an acoustic. Nice. So now he's totally into it. And they were up here visiting today. So we were at brunch with the family. And I stole him and we ran to Guitar Center a block away.
Nice.
And I said, I got to show you. They have the original Clapton Blackie Strat on display.
Wow.
In that Guitar Center. I said, dude, I got to show you this great guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So we, as soon as he ate his last bite, I was like, we're leaving. We ran out. And we hung out at Guitar Center for a little bit. Then I gave him a Wolfgang to play. And I was so proud that he instantly clicks the D tuner back into drop D. And he goes, check it out. And he starts playing the beginning of Unchained.
Nice.
I was like, yeah.
There's hope for the world. There's hope for the world. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, that's excellent. I go, do you know the next part, the verse part? He goes, no. So I grabbed the guitar. The next thing you know, we had a little jam going in Guitar Center.
Nice.
So that was fun. And when I see these kids today, not just my nephew, when I see the kids on social media or I meet a kid that is playing like the same stuff we grew up playing.
Right.
Playing the Guitar Hero stuff. Guitar Heroes, not Guitar Hero.
Right.
You know, he then went on to show me how he learned Paranoid. And he's playing, I'm like, what do you even know about Black Sabbath?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah. And I was like, just what you said, there's hope. So when I see a kid playing the stuff that's going to take it to the next generation and not like the crap that they're ensconced in,
mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. So I jumped right in with them.
Nice.
And fuel the fire.
Sure.
I'll text them like, hey man, check this out. I'll send them a link to like an Ingve thing or Steve, and he's like, oh, that's so cool.
Yep. Nice. That's so cool.
Good fun.
Any folks in the chat, if you have any questions for myself or Adam, feel free, ask away. Scott Nickerson says, look at the pride in Adam's face. Absolutely awesome.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, it is exciting. It's exciting to see the kids that are grabbing the rock that I thought was dying.
Sure.
I did some work at School of Rock last year with Eddie Ojeda from Twisted Sister, and we went to a School of Rock event, and where he sat in with the kids and played, we're not going to take it, and I want to rock.
Sure.
And we spent the day with them. So as we're, loading in and getting the gear set up and they're doing their gear, I was shocked that the kids had as many questions for me about, like, how do I get my guitar to do this, or how about this, as they did for the rock star in the room,
right?
With Eddie. And I had the best day with those kids. It was so much fun.
And I think that's the key too. If you get a few more gearheads, not just happy to strum on anything. And
I think that's an inherent thing with guitar players.
Yeah.
When
we're all tone chasers.
Not just that. I mean, the kids that are, past the beginning stages of just getting their lessons and being able to play songs in School of Rock, next thing you know, they're talking about, well, what pickups sound better? How come this amp doesn't do that? And then they just start figuring it out.
Okay.
And how to make the better mousetrap.
Sure.
When I was a kid, obviously no internet, no nothing.
Right.
Nothing came with the right instructions. I spent half my time taking my guitar apart and putting it back together, trying to get it to do what I wanted it to do. And I didn't even understand what I wanted it to do. It's like as I learned to play, I learned to tinker.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And then we went from there.
Nice. I just want to welcome David Ennis is in the house, and Michael B says he gave my friends, young kids, a guitar each. They are learning AC/DC. Little bit of hope.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is definitely it, man. When the kids grab it and you see them playing AC/DC or Van Halen or whatever, the Aerosmith stuff that their parents dig.
Sure.
It's great.
Yeah. And I like the fact that, let alone with the whole YouTube internet thing, where I think it's a lot easier in some ways to learn because stuff's more accessible, but just the fact that even your most affordable low-end guitars are playable. The intonate, the action's not half an inch off the fretboard.
I can tell you with my experience too, and working with a lot of different companies in different capacities, especially with import guitars. The import guitars of today are great. The stuff that we would turn our nose up at years ago, the companies have figured out how to work with the factories, work close with them, get the gear right. So I can tell you, the stuff coming out of Korea is great. Japan has been great for a long time.
Sure.
And here's the shocker, like even Indonesia now, very respectable guitars for the price point. Because when you think back to an Indonesian, what would be a junk guitar when we were kids that you would buy at a record store or a toy store almost, where the strings were this high off the neck went like that, it didn't stay in tune. I got to tell you, I've played some really good guitars very recently out of Indonesia and especially Korea that were stellar guitars at an X price point.
Nice. We got Sully Dude in the house. He says, I love my FU deliveries of guitar goodies and hot sauce.
Sully is the man. What's up, Sully? I love Sully.
Yeah, Sully's great. Nice, nice. Yeah. Yeah, the accessibility of a quality piece of instrument. I think, you know, and that's the thing, like so many kids back in the day, they'd try for a month or two and give up because, like say, the guitars weren't playable. Whereas now, if you can get that handful of chords under the belt, you know, and you can, you know, do an AC/DC lick or something, it's just enough to fuel them to the next level, and then give it a year and most of them are hooked, I think.
That's a good point. And I tell this to people all the time, especially always beginning guitar players. And recently a guy on my hockey team just started playing guitar too. If you have to fight the instrument and the instrument's not easy to play, if it doesn't stay in tune, you're not going to last a week. Yeah. You're not going to last a week. And I steer guys. I get it from people all the time. Hey, I want to get a guitar and an amp, or I want to get my husband a guitar, my kid a guitar. What do I get? Mm-hmm. And I always start with, what's your budget? And sometimes even if people shoot high, I reel them back down. A Mexican Strat, a Wolfgang standard, you know, guitars like that you put a little bit of love into them. You know, a Mexican Strat with 8s on it, you know, set up and intonated right is easy to play. It stays in tune. It's a great guitar, you know, and I set the action nice and low. I get the neck nice and straight. Light strings like 8s, and you're off and running.
Sure.
Know? And that's the key there. Whether it's for a kid or, you know, a boy or a girl or a first-time player, like I said, one of my most recent is a friend I play hockey with. He's like, what do I get? And I steered him into the Mexican Strat and a Line 6 amp. He's bringing it to my office next week where I'll set it up and make it right.
Sure.
At least I'll give him the platform to not get frustrated.
Yep. Exactly. Let's see, we got NASCAR Canuck has joined us. I would try and play guitar, Ben, but you won't let me touch yours. That would be my cousin. Yeah, I don't know if Boogie's still in the chat, but Boogie, if you're still in the chat, NASCAR Canuck is cousin Doug. So, and we got Absolute Mayhem in the house as well. JJ Collins is back.
So, dude, why don't you hook up your cousin? Help him out.
He'd rather sit next to me and mock me playing than actually learn to play, I think.
I don't know. I see you got a nice telly sitting right there. You're good.
Oh, yeah. That's my 67 telly.
I have a 67 telly.
No kidding.
I do. I love that guitar. Natural. Yeah. Don't let him play that.
So, no. That was my dad gigged with that for years, and then when he retired from playing, he gave it to me, and so yeah, it doesn't get out gigging anymore. It's strictly home use, but definitely
nice. Well, you let your cousin play the BC Rich. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he can play the BC Rich, or, you know, I usually take an Epiphone jumbo down, acoustic down when we go on vacation and stuff. And
that's good. No telly for you, cousin.
Yeah, there you go. See, you've been told by Adam. No telly for you.
No.
Nothing wrong with mocking you. I'm an expert. Yeah, you are. He's nice. So let's see. Saw something new with you. You got a new pickup that hit the market. Yes. Tell me a little bit. It's as the tagline. It was a pickup designed for people that know your tone type thing. I'm paraphrasing.
So yeah, I mean, I'm working on 2 different pickups right now, and then a couple little mods to this pickup that'll be coming. So this was the first one that I finished. The other one I'm working with another company that will make it for me and label it. That's going to be the second pickup. But this to me is something that just worked well for my ear. And where I landed was with an A5 magnet at 15.5 output in the bridge, 10 output in the neck, and it just sat really well.
Nice.
For my ear. And, you know, it cleans up really nice. So but you don't have to like fight it. And then obviously it'll pop wheelies and give you all the dirt you want without giving that high output, like, I guess buzz would be the right word, or to take away from everything else that you sunk your good hard-earned dollars into in your guitar. The wood you bought, the bridge upgrades you bought, the amp, the cable. You don't want the pickup to suck the life out of that and have it be all about the pickup. I think the pickup should be your microphone, to take all that stuff and transfer it to your amp without really coloring it or turning it into something that you weren't going for, but still have the punch to make it easy to, you know, make it squeal or scream or whatever it is you like to do. So
sort of the essence of, like, in the pedal world, a clean boost, you know, a transparent clean boost, no tone shaping, like you said. It definitely has a touch because a pickup is voiced. You don't want it to be, you know, back in the day of, let's just say, a PAF pickup, you know, which is a very clean, flat response pickup, which works well for certain things. But I don't think it had the push, the turbo behind it. But a lot of the pickups that go for that turbo, I think you lose a lot of the natural tones from the guitar.
Right. So I tried to give you the boost without messing with the tone of your guitar. And I think it came out pretty good. And, you know, in the pickup demo video that I did, you know, I play the guitar clean. I play the same lick, you know, very basic chord strumming. But I play it in all three positions clean. Then I kick it into dirt, and you could hear what it does. And, you know, the way I record the guitar for the demo videos, I put one mic right close to the speaker, you know, a second mic just a foot and a half back, and that's it. It's a clean signal, and I'm playing straight into a 5150 350 watt into a 70s Marshall Big M cabinet.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's a pretty transparent test bed. And I try to give you the natural flavor of the pickup. I used a 70s Bernie Explorer for the test bed guitar for that, and it came out really good. So I'm getting a good response on the pickup, and I tried to keep it at a really low price point. You know, the pickups are $79.95 a piece, and $149.95 for the set.
Wow.
So trying to keep it down just to get them out there.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you got me sold on that. So
for that,
I'm already doing the translation in my head. I'm like, okay, transfer to Canadian currency. Okay, yeah. Okay, I know where that falls in. Okay,
right.
Yeah.
And what's in the BC Rich there? What do you have in that guitar?
Those have the factory select branded pickups. That's a low end BC Rich. So, yeah.
There's your test guitar.
Yeah, that was my Valentine's gift to myself this year. I saw a plywood Mockingbird for $150, and I'm like, sure,
why not?
You know, why not?
I love that stuff. I love buying. That's probably an Indonesian guitar. I bet it feels great.
Yep.
And the only place that guitar is lacking is the pickups, the bridge, and maybe the pots. And that's easily rectified. You know, it looks good. I bet the neck feels great.
Yep, exactly.
And there's the example of our Indonesian value guitar.
Exactly. I replaced the nut because somebody had messed with it, as usual. You know, so $10 in an hour's time to fit it. You know, it's fine. Yeah. Broken Chains is in the house. We got ET 5150. Wow. I saw Lando is in here as well, out of Ottawa. Awesome. And let's see, R2R3 Locking Nut says Adam's a cool man. Well, there we are.
Thank you, R2R3.
Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I'm curious. I never really used a lot of high output pickups, and then I picked up a Mexican Tele that has the Fender blacktop pickups in, and they put out about 15K. And it's different, but it's still manageable. And it's like, okay, I get the point of the high output pickup.
I wouldn't even call it super high output. As soon as you're in that 15 and a quarter, 15 and a half, I would say that's my opinion, the beginning of high output.
Right.
Because when you get into like the crazy pickups, the Invaders and this and that, where you go 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a super high output pickup. I think this is just scratching that surface.
Right.
What a lot of guys don't do, especially rock guys, when you roll the volme knob down on your guitar and your amp is not, like a screaming, pre-overdriven guitar, you can get so many great midpoint tones. Back in the day, the way amps were built before the big preamp section, before, to pick your poison, JCM 800s and Mesa Boogies, the dual rectifiers, with that great preamp section. The way you had to get that drive was to drive the volume, to get the speaker to break up, to get that distortion. And a lot of guys, you had the amp wide open and the amp real loud, and you roll that volume knob back, you could get a dead clean tone.
Right.
And then just roll up. That was your distortion pedal.
Right.
Back in the day.
Your distortion pedal, your lead boost, all in one.
Your volume knob really played into it. But in the day of high gain amps and the way most of us play guitar, guilty as well, you get behind it, you roll the volume all the way up to 10, and off you go. You want clean, you step on a pedal, change the channel.
Yep.
But the playing with the volume knob is almost a lost art today. And I think it's an important piece of the puzzle still.
Nice. Let's see here. I had a question. ET5150 is wondering, had asked where your pickups are being built.
The pickups are being built actually overseas. It's the same factory that builds the EVH pickups right now.
Well, there we go. And let's see. We got Broken Chains has joined us. Tanaka has joined us. Blackie DH. Wow. Dry Heat 480 chimes in. Yeah. He says, is Ben going to tell Adam how to set up I'll say locking trem, because I learned.
Nice.
And because I made a remark the other night on a chat, somebody asked how to set up a locking trem, and I said, easy, buy a telly. So there you go, Dry Heat. I said it.
I got to tell you, this, and obviously because that's the core of my business and that's my sweet spot, the tremolos, and that's a very common answer. How do you do this? Buy a telly, buy a Les Paul.
Yeah.
And I think most people, and as a kid, me included, they get very frustrated with trying to handle the locking tremolos, because I don't think the information was ever put out there properly. And I take a lot of pride and a lot of time to make videos and do stuff on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook and my website, to make videos to show you how to do the most basic things, from completely stripping and rebuilding the bridge and upgrading it, to changing a string or doing intonation or getting it level and refloating it. And I think that the bigger companies from the beginning of this vein of product have just did a poor job of getting, hey, who's that?
That's my mom.
Hey, Mom.
This is Adam Reiver, owner of FU-TONE.
Oh.
Yes.
Good.
Having a hangout, yes.
She's like, what's FU?
No, just want to let you know we're home.
Okay. She's home. There we are.
That's awesome.
It's not the first time it's happened. Usually it happens around 3:34 in the morning, and it's like, you're still on, because we'll do a marathon once in a while or something. That
was cool. But getting that information out there has, it's always been some secret. It's always been an issue. No one ever took the time to say, hey, come here, let me help you with this. Because when I hear guys say, "Oh, I was so frustrated. It took me 2 hours to set up my guitar." I'm like, "What did you do? Paint it?" You know?
Yeah.
And it's not for lack of like, "Oh, you don't know." It's no one ever took the time to explain it to you. And
Exactly.
I think that's a disservice and a crime. Yeah. And I can tell you, I get on video calls every week with guys who need detuner setup help, regular bridge help, this and that. And it's always the same 4 or 5 little things that are wrong. But I take the time and walk them through, and they all say the same thing at the end. They're like, "I can't believe that you did this, A, and B, that it was so easy."
Right.
I'm like, it is easy. It's just taking the time to learn it.
Well, it's like myself, my experience with a locking trem system, I played them a little bit here and there in high school. And then just out of high school, I bought an Ibanez off a buddy of mine who gave up on playing, as a lot of guys do in their early 20s. And that was my only experience with a locking trem system, was a full floating Floyd Rose style. And I'm a palm muter. I'm strictly rhythm until the last couple of years of playing. I've only just started doing some lead work. So I didn't need a trem. It was awkward for the palm muting. And then I discovered the YouTube world in the last year, hanging out with guys like Dave Nesdall and Johnny Beane, and they're talking about the EVH stuff where it's a non-floating, or Adam's got this, Adam's got that. I'm like, who's this Adam guy that has all these wonderful little deals to make our life easier? Trem stops and all this fun stuff. And I didn't even know.
The trem stop is the biggest oversight by all of these companies. And you said it perfectly with an Ibanez, and you like to rest your hand on the bridge and you knock it out of tune. And I'm consulting with some other companies too now, too. I'm like, trem stop must be standard equipment. And they're like, why? We've been making this guitar this way for 20 years. I go, because you're not giving anyone a choice. Now you're telling people that you play a floating tremolo. Why? Because I can tell you, I sell more trem stops than anything. Why? Because you don't need to play a floating tremolo. You're making it twice as hard on yourself as you need to be. And how about if you just want the option? You want to engage the stopper and have it set so you could palm mute, do double stops, rest your hand, whatever you want. And if you want to set it up to floating, you make one minor adjustment and reset it to floating. But how about the right answer is you should have the option to do that. Not, here's your floating tremolo, best of luck. Especially to a kid that can't tune it. Yeah, it's an art form to tune a floating tremolo properly anyway. That's hence the guy. It took me 2 hours to set up my guitar. Right. Because A, you don't know, and B, they're making it twice as hard on you, but you don't have to. And when I get the questions, especially like for detuner questions, and they say, I have a floating tremolo and I want to put a detune on it. And I go, well, do you pull up on the bridge? And the guy that says to me, never. Why do you have a floating tremolo?
Right.
Well, it came that way.
But it doesn't have to be.
Right. So again, the information that the companies deprive you of, that's what you're stuck with. And people just don't know better because the information was not given to them from the jump.
Right. Now here's a question: the detuner, was that you? You're the detuner?
I'm the detuner guy with my part. I have a partner in that.
Okay.
And so we work for the boss, and I handle detuner for 26 years now, 27 years.
Yeah. See, no, that's something that has worked into the vernacular, I think, of the entire guitar world. Like even us hardtail guys, we know what a detuner is. It's like, I may not know much, but if I see one, that's cool. I kind of know what it does, but it's cool. It's great invention.
Thank you. It definitely has its place. It serves a good purpose. And if you like to drop D and you like a locking tremolo, there you have it on the fly.
Sure. Yeah, without having to do the amount of math with your fine tuner that, can I get it to E and get it, to maybe with that fine tuner? Yeah.
Click, ED, that fast.
Beautiful. Mitch Heyman says, "Tell Adam I had Tremolo No installed on my Ibanez Prestige RG 652 for the same reason."
Yeah, and it's there's a handful of ways to skin that cat, whether it's tremolo stopper, tremolo no. You know, I've seen everything from, you know, people cutting blocks of wood. Back in the day, one of the tricks I used to do would be I would figure out how many guitar picks it would take between the tremolo block and the wood,
right,
and then just put the guitar picks in there, put a wrap of tape around the block, and there was your block tremolo.
Yeah, I remember even guys doing even that with like Fulcrum trem systems. So
Yeah,
I want a hardtail Strat. Well, go get a hardtail Strat. They do make them. They do exist. But, you know, let's see here. Blackie, yeah, we did talk about the pickups a little earlier. If you want to rewind, or again, great sounding clean at the edge of a high output, we'll say approximately, you said 15.5K output on the bridge, 10K output on the neck, which I'd see that. Everything I see, it seems it's either like 7.5, 8, or 15. And as soon as you said 10, I'm like, oh, 10, you say?
Yeah, and I didn't pick 10 arbitrarily. I tested pickup after pickup after pickup till I got what I wanted. Right. You know, I would write a spec sheet. I would have the pickup made. I'd have it sent in. I would do a test. I would share it with a couple friends of mine, and, you know, I took feedback to see what they thought, and this is what I ended up with.
Nice. Very nice. I'm looking forward to hearing them for sure. For sure. Excuse me. You're more than welcome, Blackie. More than welcome. And I'm looking forward. Hopefully, Blackie and I are going to see each other at Gearfest in a couple of weeks.
Where's Gearfest?
At Sweetwater.
Oh, right.
Their annual event there. Yeah. So he's a Fort Wayne guy, so hopefully he's pretty busy, but I'm hopefully have him by the hotel and we'll have a bit of a jam and split a pint or something like that, and, you know, get to meet some of these YouTube people. That's one of the big things I'm looking forward to. Is there's about half a dozen or so of the YouTube viewers and channels that are going to be there, and just getting to meet these people in person.
This is one of the positives of the internet, social media, YouTube, and I've met so many great people and made a lot of friends through mediums just like this. And, you know, because we all have the same common interest. We all just dig gear. We dig messing with it, talking about it, sharing it. It's, you know, it's a complete nerd fest, and I love it, and it's great. But I've made some really good friends over the years with this, and I enjoy it. Every once in a while, you get that one insane maniac that totally abuses it.
Yeah.
And, you know, just will go after someone or spew hate, or, you know, just use it for the exact opposite. You know, they'll mock someone's playing or some. When I see someone say something negative, it really pisses me off, because even if you have nothing to say, don't nothing good to say, don't say anything. But you'll see a guy post a guitar video, and he may not have the best tone, he may not be the best player. You know what kind of balls it takes to post a video of yourself playing a guitar, to have some guy like, "Oh, you suck," or this. I'm like, yeah, sometimes when I go live with the mobile version, I can actually play guitar while I'm live. And I'll do that, you know, just noodling around, because half the time when I'm watching these things, I got a guitar sit in my lap anyways. So, you know, and somebody said that, you know, you got some balls to play live on YouTube with the world, you know, sitting at all the keyboard warriors. And I said, if they don't like my playing, I tell them there's 1,000 other channels to watch with much more talent than me. So here's the motto. I'll give everyone a motto. Don't be a dick. You know what? Be supportive of people. You know, lift them up. Be positive. When I see someone, especially someone that may not be the greatest, I make sure I take time to leave a comment. Great job. Keep it coming. Something positive and uplifting. Yeah,
and I swear, in any video you can always find the positive in something. You know, it could be they could be playing something and the timing's off and their guitar's out of tune, but they might have a really cool tone. And so, dude, I'm totally digging your tone. And he's like, "Oh, wow, that's an awesome positive message." I'm not lying. I'm not blowing smoke up his butt. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, and I don't get why people need to down other people. You know, just it's personal ass chapping for me. But you know, be supportive, be positive, be involved, and that I think that's the way to go here. You know, these our guys are our brothers. We all dig the same thing. And I don't care how good you are. There's always somebody better. And believe me, I know some guys that are pretty good. So when they could be cool about it, I think everyone needs to be cool about it.
Exactly. Yeah, like if you think, you know, like anyone watching or, you know, you sit through something and you're going, wow, this is hard to watch. Just imagine a true virtuoso or something, you know, watching any of us. So, you know, it puts you in perspective really quick. And yeah, I'm a big believer in karma. So keep it positive, and, you know, good things happen to those who put out positive vibes.
I have a very nice brush with that vein. I was doing guitars and working with Warren DeMartini, and I was out at his house, and we're just wrenching guitars, and he goes in the other room to get some food and a drink, and I had just finished putting parts in a guitar, and before I give it to him, I kind of beat on it, and he's off in the kitchen somewhere, and I pick up the guitar, and I just start beating on it and riffing a little bit, and I stop, and he yells from the other room. He goes, "Hey man, that sounded pretty cool. What was that?" I was like, I didn't think you heard that. Yeah. I'm like, thanks. I go, you don't have to tell me it was good. He goes, oh man, that was good. I go, well, thank you.
Yeah. I think about the closest I could say to that was actually, ironically, last weekend. There was another similar to Gearfest. It's called Music Fest at a store north of Toronto here. And they had a few vendors and stuff there, about 20, 30 vendors. And I saw my opportunity to play one, a Duesenberg guitar, and two, through a Milkman amp.
Oh, cool.
And it was in the Keeley booth. And I got to try a Keeley compressor. Again, I'm in small town Ontario. I'm about 100 miles east of Toronto. So for me to try that type of gear, I got to drive into the city. Hopefully a music store has the stuff in stock. And so I started playing, and I'm just noodling around. I hear, oh, that's cool. And then Robert Keeley himself leans over and just tweaks the compressor a bit for me. And I'm just like, Robert Keeley's dialing in his compressor that I'm noodling through. I'm like, and I guess I had a grin, 3 feet wide.
Yeah. I mean, too, I've been doing this a long time with some pretty cool dudes, and it's not lost on me. It's not lost on me ever. Yeah. I still like, I'm constantly pinching myself. Like, am I doing this?
Right. Well, I got that vibe before we became friends on Facebook. Well, actually, it ended up resulting in that was the fact that a local buddy of mine, I had made a comment that I'm thinking about getting something like a Wolfgang or something like that. And he's like, well, you're going to have a problem with that locking trem. You're going to have to get some FU-TONE stuff, and to trick it out. And again, he knows me as a hardtail guy, but he doesn't know I've been hanging out in the YouTube world with a lot of guys that play locking trims. I was like, oh, I'm aware of Adam, blah, blah, blah. And next thing I know, you're chiming in because he had tagged you. You're like, oh, thanks for the kind words. And I was like,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I sent you a friend request back around NAMM time because I was watching your stuff from NAMM. And next thing I know, it's like bing. And I'm like, all right, it's the middle of a weekday. This guy's got to have something better to do looking at two Canucks talking about him.
I guess I was in the right place at the right time, and it just popped on, and I was like, right on. This is cool. And the Canucks, forget it. I love the Canucks. I'm a hockey guy because we could get it. We could get in the hockey too, I have a lot of friends up there. I love Canada. I have a blast every time I'm there, and I just grew up with that, Northeast United States / Canada hockey connection.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize there's not a lot of difference between Southern Ontario and the tri-state area type thing. Like it's all the same. It's a little dot in the world.
It is, and our pocket that goes like Boston, New York, Philly, DC.
Yeah.
that little quadrant of the U.S. It's the same as Toronto, and we all dig the same stuff. We're all hockey cats.
Yep.
I'm a Flyers guy since I'm a kid. Melissa's a big Rangers fan, and we go to the Flyer Ranger games in the Garden and the Flyer Ranger games in Philly.
Right.
And I wear my Flyer jersey. She wears a Rangers jersey. It's awesome.
Sure.
We have a blast.
We get that a lot around here for the fact I'm roughly halfway between Toronto and Montreal. So you get a lot of couples where you got a Leafs fan and a Habs fan.
So where do you lie?
I'm a lifelong Leafs fan. So, my grandparents were Leafs fans. My dad was a Leafs fan. So,
my condolences. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And honestly, I actually gave up on hockey this year.
No.
I gave up on all stick and ball, all sports except for auto racing. I still have a passion for auto racing, but it was just, I don't know what it was. I just found I was getting more immersed in music and stuff like that it was just less time in the day to even pay attention to sports. And then I was just like, you know what? Nah, I'll keep involved with auto racing and stuff because that's been a lifelong passion. But yeah, I gave up on stick and ball sports.
I gave up on football, basketball, baseball, and all I have left is hockey. Football was the last to go a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm in Philly where we just won a Super Bowl, and I could care less.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I rooted against the Eagles always because I thought the fans were a disgrace. They were an embarrassment. So unlike the hockey fans that are totally cool.
Very passionate.
Passionate's okay. Being an abusive, rude jerk to people is not cool. Throwing a beer on a family because they wear the wrong jersey, uncalled for. Despicable fans. Yeah. So, but I don't know how we got that.
I've heard a few reputation about the Eagles fans. So
horrible. But Flyers fans, I got to tell you, the hockey fans are class. Who wears a Ranger jersey in the building, and people, everyone ribs and jokes, but not mean or nasty.
Right. Yeah, it's all in good fun.
In good, clean fun. And same, I wear a Flyer jersey to the Garden. People are like, you're going down, you're this, you're that. No one's like throwing a beer on you, like, oh, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Hockey fans, cool, always.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Let's see. Oh, we got Romeo Delights in the house. Hey, buddy, glad you could tune in.
Cool name.
Yeah. He met. I think we met through the Johnny Beane channel with that. So. Yeah, I've been it's funny. Even my bandmates, they've been razzing me over the last few months as my best friend will say. So you've been hanging out with the guitar crowd that favor the pointier guitars these days, do you? Maybe. He was like kind of reliving your youth. I was like, dude, I didn't know an '80s Kramer was worth what they are now.
Right.
It's crazy. You couldn't give one of those away even 10 years ago.
Yeah, no one cared. But it's everything becomes the new vintage. When it was, 50s and 60s Strats and Tellys. And I told cats, I said, you watch 70s Strats, Tellys, and Pauls are next. They're like, oh, that stuff was shit. Yep. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's baseball card mentality. Yeah. It's like old, and as the time goes, sure enough, it became 70s. Now it's 80s.
Yeah. It's funny because like even nowadays, like my previous band, we were an original band, so you'd be playing a lot of indie shows, 4 or 5 bands on the bill, and it's like everybody, it was either guys that were teenagers or in their 40s, it was one or the other, and and you'd say to a guy, well, what kind of guitar you got? He'd be like, oh, it's a Les Paul, and then you'd look down and say, but it's an Epiphone, and I was like, it doesn't matter, buddy. And he's like, really? I said, because I remember when I first got into playing, this 67 behind me, my dad was embarrassed about it because he'd say, oh yeah, I play a Telly, but it's a CBS. And it's amazing how times change. But now a CBS era Fender is worth thousands upon thousands of dollars, but he was embarrassed by it. Like it might as well have been built offshore as far as it's not pre-CBS, so it doesn't count. You know.
I remember when I first started playing, and you know, this is early 80s. I would take the train before we even had licenses. We'd come up to New York to 48th Street, and my best friend Matt Brooke, who works with EVH brand at EVH, we would come up and we would go to Sam Ash and Manny's, and we'd buy guitars, Alex, and they were all over 48th Street. It was the coolest street and era ever.
Mm-hmm.
And all we wanted was the pointy headstock guitars. And at that point, you know, it was Jackson and Charvel. It was the very beginning of Kramer. And you would go over to this place called We Buy Guitars across the street. And they had tons of Strats, Tellys, and Pauls literally stacked up on top of each other in piles, you know, 60s and 70s, and nobody wanted them.
Yep.
No, you couldn't give them away then. I mean, you could buy a 60s Strat for $300, $300 to $400.
I was telling guys when I started playing, like I started in January of '89, and so like that year, 89 into 90, I went out looking for an electric guitar, and you could buy a 70s Les Paul for 500 Canadian. You know, so and at that time, so that'd be about $350, $400 US. You know, and it was either a gold top or some kind of a burst, that they all had way too much buckle rash. Half of them, you know, and the funny part was they all had the upgrades everybody wanted to do. You know, half of them had a super distortion jammed in the bridge. Half of them had the Grovers, you know, upgraded for the tuners, but yeah, they were just out there. And now these things, everyone's, oh my, you know, a 70s Les Paul. Oh my, it's like, yeah, but nobody wanted a pancake body, multi-piece neck, but now they're coveted like anything else.
It's baseball card mentality. It really is, you know, and so be it, you know. And I'm not a vintage snob by any stretch, and my 67 Telly is, you know, at some point someone had hacked out for a humbucker underneath. And it's, by a collector's standpoint, a vintage snob would turn their nose up at it.
Right.
Change tuners, and it was hacked under the bridge, but it's all been converted back. And you know what? It's a smoking player guitar. Yep. And I love it. I have a 54 Les Paul Jr. with a changed bridge and changed tuners. And, you know, my vintage friends are like, oh, you know, that bridge is not right. I'm like, play it. You play it. Go ahead.
I got a 71 Telly given to me by my cousin because he had known that I'd retired the 67, and he knew how much I loved it. And he started collecting Tellys as a result of playing my dad's like 35 years ago. So he had sent me a 71. He goes, it's going to need some work, you know, do whatever you want. But the deal was keep it till you're old and gig with it. So, you know, of course, I keep all the original parts. But first thing, I got rid of the bridge because it had the extra long height adjustment. So it was just like a cheese grater. So I put a modern 6-saddle bridge on it.
Right.
And that was fine. And I put a 4-way switch in it so I can get that out-of-phase Stratocaster sound as well. And it's even like the 67 here. Some people will give me grief because it's got EMGs in it. Well, that was because my dad was gigging in the mid-'80s, and every bar still had terrible ground, and he played super clean through a Fender amp, and he was sick of having that buzz come through. So he heard about these quiet pickups. And, you know, in 1984, 85, he put a set of EMGs in it, and I just never changed it back because that's my dad's guitar type thing.
And that's how you should do it. I just scrolled on my phone. I found a picture of my 67.
Oh, nice. See something there, so I'll bring you up.
You see that okay?
There we go. Yeah, I got you presented now. There we go. Oh, that's gorgeous.
You could see under the bridge pickup, you see that little nick sticking out where they routed it.
Okay. Just. Yeah, just. Nice.
So that was the that's my I love that guitar. Love that guitar.
Tone Bolts, welcome. And he says, I'd rather a hot rod than a vintage in guitar, bikes, and cars. Well, you can have both.
Come on.
You know, like, well, the 71, we did the bridge, switch. Oh, and I put a brass nut in it too.
Huge.
Because everybody back in the day, right? It was all about the brass parts.
That was I think that was the first real upgrade that you could do back in the 70s, before replacement pickups started.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the first real upgrade became, you know, change the nut, and people are like, oh man, that little piece of metal makes a difference. And the point of that brass nut, if you take a Les Paul, a Strat, or a Telly and take out that piece of plastic, put in a piece of brass this big at the nut, and you have a huge tonal return. That's the whole basis of what FU-TONE does. You know, whether you do it at the bridge, under the pickups with the PMS, on your acoustic, I make brass and titanium bridge pins. Whether it's on your Strat, I make a replacement Strat block, same size as the stock block, just brass. And it's the same concept. You're changing the weak link in the guitar tonally. And for guitars with tremolos, I don't care if it's a Strat or a locking trem or a Godot or Floyd or whatever, the weak link is that weak block under the bass plate. And they all make the same mistake. Thank God, because that's what my business is based on fixing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if everyone starts installing, you know, solid nice blocks and trim stops,
they won't, because it costs money, very little money. But the guys who make that decision aren't guitar players,
right? The bean counters, as they say.
Yeah, for sure. Thank God. Let them stick with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here for everyone else.
I see. I got Jamal Kareem in the house. Hey, Jamal, good to see you. Hope you're not working too hard, or you're at work or at home. He likes to tune in from work on occasion.
It beats working.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? So yeah, there's a question, because you'd be the man of all men to ask. So installing the brass nut on the tone spectrum, what is more pronounced? Like, I do hear a tonal difference, but I'm also half deaf, so.
Well, it's a simple physics thing, and it doesn't matter if it's the nut or an acoustic bridge pin or the block of a tremolo. Your string vibrates, and the string's touching different points of the guitar. So when the string vibrates, comes down the neck, and goes across that bridge and hits that bridge saddle or hits the nut, if it's a piece of plastic, it absorbs the vibration. If it's a piece of resonant brass, it takes that vibration and amplifies it back out into the guitar. So you're not hearing the brass, you're hearing the guitar. It's the difference of, if I talk to you like this, hey man, I'm your regular note, as opposed to me talking to you like this.
Right. And I think it, you know, could I be wrong? I'm getting more sustained too, I swear.
Absolutely. Well, it's feeding it back out. It amplifies vibration. Period. It takes the blanket off of the guitar. So that's the weak link in the guitar. A piece of plastic doesn't vibrate and resonate. It absorbs it and muffles it and kills it.
Right. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, and you were saying, I don't know if everyone out there in the world knows that they definitely know you in the locking trim world, but you do more than just locking trim stuff, as we were talking about before. You do some saddles and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, like I was saying, I make acoustic bridge pins out of brass and titanium. I make a Stratocaster replacement block. I make the PMS pickup mounting system, which is a brass bar that sits under your pickup, feeds that vibration back into your pickup. Definitely locking saddles. I have new Strat saddles in development right now. You know, in the guitar, you know, the same way, you know, you have your guitar, you have your pedal board, you have a great amp, you have great pedals. And, you know, what are you going to do? Put a $10 cable between, you know, your $3,000 pedalboard and $3,000 amp? You know, it's like putting putting used tires on your new Ferrari. So it's only as good as your weakest link. So I look for that weak link in different guitars and try and find an easy upgrade path. You know, something that's cost effective and easy to do.
Nice. Yeah, and your springs that you do, you have like different color springs for different spring strengths. Is that correct?
Not just colored; they're noiseless. They're silent springs. So they have a polymer coating on the outside, and they have a rubber plug on the inside. So So if you were to muffle your strings and just kind of bang the strings, you would hear that reverb, hollowy spring sound. And that's constantly getting in your tone. So by taking that out of it, it clears your tone up overall. You want reverb, you add reverb. You don't always want reverb. So why have your reverb on all the time? So, and I make them in different colors to coordinate to different strengths. So I make my black spring, which is a standard tension spring that everyone's used to, but silent. I make a yellow spring, which is a little softer, red, which is a little tighter, and a purple, which is a super heavy duty spring. And
I love that idea because, again, you know, for years you're limited to, again, the Fender thinking of, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can angle some a bit, you know, so you had a little bit of variance, but it just opens it up that much more for the player to fine tune their drum system.
I'll address that point. You brought up a good point. If you find my videos, I do a whole video on spring tension. And guys would say to me, I have to use 3 springs, or I have to use 2, or I angle 2 of them and run 1 straight. And that's the only way it works. I'm going to break the myth on that for everybody. The claw position will determine your overall spring tension. And let's just talk about a floating tremolo for 1 second. So with a floating tremolo, you have string tension pulling the bridge this way, and you have spring tension pulling the bridge back this way. So to get your bridge level to the body, the spring tension and the string tension have to equal each other. Now, I'll give you an arbitrary number. Let's just say it takes, the string tension is 10 pounds this way. And you need 10 pounds this way to hold the bridge level. Think of the scales of justice, right? So if I put 10 pounds on this side, which will be our string tension, I need 10 pounds on this side to balance, to keep the bridge level. Does it matter if I put 10 pounds of rocks, pennies, feathers, whatever? 10 pounds is 10 pounds. So the spring tension, the feathers or the rocks, is determined by the claw tension. So I can get to that same 10-pound number with 2 springs, 3 springs, 4 springs by moving the claw to get it equal. And I show you how to do it in the video. And I've had guys say to me, I only use 3 springs and you can't tell me any different. I said, I'll bet you I could set up the guitar 3 different ways and you can't tell me which one had 3 springs on it.
Right.
And I would do it different ways and they would go, oh, that's the one. I actually did it to one guy where I set it up 3 different ways and I didn't do 3 springs at all.
Nice.
And I would just put tape over the back.
Sure.
I set it up with 4 springs. I set it up with 2 springs. I set it up with 3 straight. Then I do 1 this way. 10 pounds equals 10 pounds equals 10 pounds. No matter how you slice it. So again, the spring thing is another one of those myths, and that no one just educated the masses on about. So I do have a whole video I did where I show you how to do all that. I have that charger over there. So that is my spring breakdown.
Let's see. ET5150 has a question. What's the brass block versus copper block difference?
Great question. And I'll answer, I'll give you 3 different answers: brass, copper, and titanium. And I always get asked which one's the best, or titanium must be the best because it's more expensive. It's not the case. What's best is what sounds best to you. So just like I told that DeMartini story the other day, I set up the same guitar 5 different ways, you know, with titanium saddles, brass block, titanium saddles, titanium, copper this, regular saddles, this block, that. And we would track and record the guitar all day. And then at the end of the day, we strung it all together and listened back. And we kept eliminating things off of the list.
Sure.
Because stuff was better than it. The first thing off of the list was the original setup, and this was on an iconic guitar, on a guitar that I thought sounded great to begin with.
Right.
You know, there's the snake guitar plugged into the soprano, and I'm like, there's the sound.
Yeah.
Pretty good to start.
Yeah.
This is going to be tough, but we just kept passing it. And then we got down to the last 2 configurations. And he said, well, which one do you like better? I said, I'm not telling you. I said, because who cares what I like? It's your guitar.
Sure.
And
exactly.
what he went with was what I agreed with anyway. But so brass, and it also depends, you know, what you're going for. It also depends whose sound you like. It depends what you're running it into and the wood of the guitar. Brass is an overall nice, round, full sound where when you think brass, think Lynch, think Van Halen, think DeMartini, think those types of sounds.
Right.
And lots of sustain. When you think titanium, think of that big open G chord with all the distortion and effects on it, but hearing each note of that chord and nice separation and clarity. When I say think titanium, think Phil Collins, think Michael Wilton from Queensryche. Think of that. Think of those big chords with a lot going on in it, and
right.
each note sits in a separate place. And copper, think closer to brass with a scooped midsection.
Okay.
You know? And so the right answer is, you know, whatever you like. I could tell you my main guitar, my #1 guitar that I'll play more than anything, my EVH Music Man, has a brass block in it. That's what I like for that guitar.
Right.
That's what works best in that guitar to my ear.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, it totally makes sense to me. Yeah, and what may work for one guy may not work for someone else because we're all searching for a different tone. And
always, if that was the case, we'd all have the same guitar, the same amp, the same pedals.
Exactly, and we'd still all sound different.
Yeah,
that's the funny part.
And that is the root of it too. It is the guy.
Yeah,
it's the guy. I mean, the gear is very important, and you need the gear. But I could tell you, I play the Van Halen rig. Sounds just like me.
Yep.
Exactly like me.
Yeah, I thought that I got to play my first Wolfgang last weekend. And I was like, as soon as I did one little riff, and it was like, I get it. Like, I understand why people love these guitars because, you know, with the radius and then the finish and the way the trem's set up and, you know, just so easy to play. And I was like, and I'm playing through a 5153, like an EL84 at the EVH booth, you know, and they got the tone dialed in. And I was like, wow, I sound like Eddie. And then I went, no, I sound like me trying to be Eddie.
Yeah,
that's what I sound like.
From me.
Yeah.
Same from
me.
Yeah,
I loved it. Loved it. Hey, we got Timothy Pierce in the house. Hey, buddy. Awesome. Still got people coming out of the chat here. We still got 14 people watching. That's awesome. Appreciate it, folks. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. And while I think of it, we have a contest going on. If you want to enter the contest, folks, you have to be subscribed to this channel. If you go on any previously played video, just comment, I want that wah pedal, and you go into a draw for a dime bag wah, courtesy of R2R3 Locking Nut.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I am running a contest as well right now off of, if you go to the FU-TONE, it's FU-TONE, the Facebook page, and I have it on all the social media, actually. I'm giving away a couple of pickups. So I'm going to get the new FU pickup, and the instructions are on there. You have to like it, share it, and tag someone. And I'm going to do that tomorrow, actually. So I'm going to just go through at random, pick a couple people, give away a couple pickups, get them out there.
Yeah, somebody tagged me in that, and then I tagged Richie, and then Richie tagged somebody else, and it's just like I'm just seeing all my friends getting tagged. I'm like, good. Because
you're not eligible to win because we're friends, so everyone will think it's fixed. So I'll just send you a pick. I'll send you a pickup anyway for the BC rigs.
There we go. Well, I'd more than appreciate that. That's for sure. Wow. We got Steve Andersen in the house. He made it back from the beach in beautiful Victoria, BC. So it's 19th thumbs up from me. We got Dave Byron in the house. He's out of Southwest Florida, North Fort Myers area, gigging like 5-6 days a week down there. Great guy, great player.
Awesome.
His channel's growing crazy. So yeah, welcome guys. Yeah, we're hanging out with Adam Reiver here from FU-TONE. Awesome stuff.
It's cool, man. I dig getting to chat with people and talking about gear and just being a dork.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Well, like we were talking off air before going on. You're like, so what do you want to talk about? I'm like, I don't know, gear. Sure, works for me.
That is cool, man.
You know, it's like, yeah, you want to hit a couple of high points. Like, you got the new pickup out, so I wanted to talk about that, and we'll talk about the locking trim stuff. But I also wanted to let the folks know you have more than, because again, you're known for certain things, because as you said, with those locking trim systems, it's the usual 4 or 5 things. And as a result, I hear a lot of, well, you need this and you need that, and we'll go, Adam has this or Adam has that, which is great.
Cool, and I get a ton of tech questions every day via email or messenger or this and that. I prefer email because I see it more than the private messages. But if you have a question or you're unsure of what you need or how to get from A to B, you can hit me up through any of the FU-TONE platforms, and I'm easy to find.
Yeah, we actually got see Timothy Pierce says, Adam, I've used your black springs and brass block. I want to try the brass spring claw and the stainless screws. How will it change the tone?
Simple. Like I was talking about the nut, everything is a link in your chain. Some things are more important than others, and but everything is still a link. So when I talked about the string vibrating across the neck, hitting your saddles, hitting the block, through the springs, at that point into your claw and back into the body. So the claw is made of cheap pot metal.
Right.
The screws are just regular cheap steel screws.
Right.
So a brass claw. Brass will vibrate more than the pot metal. Brass screws. I also make a titanium claw. But is it the most important link in the chain? No. Is it a link in your chain? Yes. So in my mind, in order of importance in the chain, I always tell guys, follow this chain of command and stop where your budget stops you. Definitely go in this order. Big block first. The block under the tremolo is the single biggest thing you can do.
Right.
Second is the inserts in the saddles, those little tiny blocks that go in the saddles that pinch the string. Those are cheap steel that A, sound bad, B, they fail all the time. So they split, they crack, they expand and get stuck. I'm sure everyone out there has changed the string. That little block doesn't move. So I make a titanium replacement and I make a naval brass replacement.
Nice.
So The saddle inserts are the second biggest thing, right behind the block under the bridge. From there, I go to the springs, then I go to the claw, then you could go to the hardware. The hardware is more of a functionality thing instead of a tonal thing. So you have the string lock screws, the saddle mounting screws, and the nut clamping screws. And they corrode, they get rusty, they get stuck, they strip, they break. That cheap metal. So I make a high-grade stainless steel version, and then I also make a titanium version of all three of those screws.
Very cool.
Never strip, never get corroded. You know, that's
very nice.
So
we got Michael Smith in the chat here. Welcome, Michael, all the way from Colorado.
Nice.
I believe you know Michael Smith. He met up with you at NAMM.
Oh yeah. That Michael Smith.
Yes. Call him the captain because he always looks like he's on a boat whenever he hops into one of our channels and stuff.
Nice.
Well, awesome to see. Yeah. Yeah, some great questions coming in tonight, guys. Great stuff. Stuff I wouldn't have thought of asking, which is great. Let's see here. Still got 18 people watching. Awesome. So what are you looking forward to down the road here now that we've got the pickup on the market? Is there any stuff that you're willing to talk about?
I got some that I can't yet, but I definitely have a lot of cool stuff.
The guys with the white lab coats, I know. Yeah, in the clean room. And
just the opposite. I'll have a second pickup probably next year. I'm working on something with a partnering guitar company that will be pretty cool. I can't even get into that, but think what I could say. I have some really cool stuff coming up, but I don't want to let too much of it out yet because it's bad enough that I put something out and a bunch of companies rip it off and do a shitty version of it. Try to lay claim to it.
Yeah.
But
okay, fair enough. Maybe something we'll see at NAMM next year, perhaps.
It's funny. I don't exhibit at NAMM because I'm not looking to sell wholesale to dealers, and NAMM is manufacturers selling to dealers. I do work with a handful of dealers, but I work direct with them, and that's not the sale I'm looking for. I like to deal direct with my people because no one's going to represent my product like I do.
That's
so
true.
When someone orders a Strat block and they order the wrong one, or they're not sure what, God forbid that's hanging on the wall in a guitar center, and the guy goes, "One Strat block, please," and the guy behind the counter goes, "Here you go." And then the kid gets home and goes, "Well, this doesn't fit. This thing sucks."
Right.
So I don't exhibit at NAMM, even though I work at NAMM dealing with all of my partnering companies. So a lot of my artists are there, a lot of my builders are there, and I still have the big companies at Jackson, Charvel, and ESP, and this one and that one, and that's all well and good through the custom shops, but I like to deal direct with the people that I work with.
So the custom, well, you just made it. So the custom shops, you can actually, let's say, order from a company and say, "Look, I want the FU-TONE stuff right." Oh, awesome. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I see now that makes sense, and that would make sense. Yeah, you'd be at NAMM, touching base with all those folks and stuff like that. Okay, and because it's like in the car world, like if I'm gonna order a car, especially back in the day with the options packages they had with the muscle cars, and it'd be like, "Look, I don't want the factory rims. Throw a set of Krager rims on it, anyways." So they would have the Krager guys, supplying the dealerships that were doing the high-end stuff, the conversions and stuff. So I get it. Yep.
Same thing, and it's cool. And NAMM is great. And I love working with NAMM. Melissa and I just went with a delegation from NAMM down to Washington, D.C. We were meeting with members of Congress and all the representatives about music education and the funding of music education. It was really a wild, wild trip and a great experience. So, and that's the stuff that fuels the future, like we opened with. You know, these kids, that if they don't have the money, the schools don't have the money to provide music education, you know, eventually that hurts the music instrument manufacturers. So everyone has a stake in that game to be there. That's the selfish reason. The upside reason is for the kids themselves. It helps.
Sure.
It helps develop brain function, and you know, music education is proven to improve test scores and all kinds of good positive benefits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, keeps a kid off the street, keeps a kid here.
That's what I always say. Guitar will keep you out of one kind of trouble, but it might get you into another kind of trouble.
It's not a bad kind of trouble.
No.
Like I said to my 14-year-old nephew at Guitar Center today when we were walking back, I said, chicks love the dudes with guitars. And he turned bright red and he got embarrassed. Although she's making eyes at me across the room. You know, chicks dig the guitar players.
There we go. Hey, we got Showman Blues in the house. Welcome, Showman. Another guy out of Florida. Awesome. Naples, Florida, as I recall.
A lot of Florida people for a Canuck group.
Yeah. I get around, apparently. I don't know. Maybe it's already so warm down there, they just want to feel cooler by hanging out with a Canadian. I don't know.
All right, that'll do it.
Yeah, we got Quentin James just jumped in as well. Wow, this is awesome. And you're okay on time here, Adam?
Good. I'm good for another 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, cool. And I might open it up to some of the folks in the chat. Some of the radios, Michael or Bruce or R2, if you want to jump in, let me know. I'm still planning on going for a little while yet, but I didn't want to keep you all night too, Adam. So
I'm good.
I know the Tony Awards are on.
Yeah, I see it out of the corner of my eye. Melissa's watching the Tony Awards.
There we go.
I got to get up early, get back to FU early tomorrow, and then I have Def Leppard in Philadelphia tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Which will be a good one.
Now, is Phil back playing with the band?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know he had a little something go on there, so.
Phil had to run home for some family business. His wife had a baby. Steve Brown from Trickster did a huge job on 36 hours notice to join the band, learn all Phil's parts, and play 3 or 4 shows as the lead guitar player on zero notice, and he killed it. So if you go to my Facebook, there'll be or the FU Facebook, there's some video clips and a bunch of pictures, and what a job he did. And I got to tell you, not just a friend for 25 years, probably the most underrated guitar player in the business. People go, oh, Trickster, late 80s, big deal. Let me tell you, this cat is the real deal.
Yeah, he's got some very kind words from Dave Nesdall. He mentions him with I guess they know each other and stuff.
Yeah,
hey, Lando.
He's a local guy here.
Lando, are the kids in bed? Do you want to jump in? Lando is nice enough to have me on his channel quite often, so return the favor to a fellow Canuck.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Where is Lando?
He's in Ottawa.
Right near the Elsinore Brewery?
Actually, I thought Elsinore Brewery was supposed to be in Guelph. Wait.
See, probably no one else in the chat knows what I'm talking about. Except you. And I'm glad
except Lando.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got it too.
Yeah, I'm just actually looking at the chat. I'm like, who else is Canadian in here? Well, Steve Andersen, he's Canadian, so he might have got that. And Lando says, I'm just watching, thanks. Well, you're more than welcome, buddy. Anytime.
Good stuff, man. I got to tell you, Strange Brew, my favorite all-time Canadian movie.
Directions to my place, my cousin says. Yeah, because he lives in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, and that's where that big Oktoberfest is every year.
Nice.
All right, here's a good question. Michael Smith asks, can you ask Adam what inspired him to start making improvement parts?
The same thing that when I was a kid, where I said I would take my guitar apart and put it back together and find the weak links. And you know, my first guitar was a cheap Hondo Flying V that I bought at a Sam Goody record store, you know, for like $150. And this is probably like 1981-ish, 81, 82. And after doing that a couple of times, and then right behind the brass nut phase of the 70s, guys were selling replacement pickups. So replacement pickups, I think, were the boom on the market. So I started buying pickups and changing the pickup. And I go, man, you change one part, it's a whole new guitar. Then I changed this and that. And then I got a Caler. And I had a Caler installed on it. And I was like, this thing is wild. You know, and over the years, and I said, after detuner, and I said, this is a weak link here. And I just kept, you know, detuner filled a void. You know, how do you go from E to D on a locking trim without, you know, unlocking the nut, retuning the guitar, refine tuning the guitar? It was a need. It was a necessity. You know, and I said, that block is just weak. You know, how about if we do it this way and make it a little fatter, a little longer? I wonder if that'll do anything.
Right. Sure. And the journey starts. Let's see here. I saw Zach Moon says he's Canadian as well. Timothy Pierce is out of Hampton, New Hampshire, so that's pretty much honorary Canadian. That's further north than I am. Sully Dude says I want some good old steam whistle here. Dave Byron says, hey Ben, hope is all with you getting a deal at NAMM, bro. Yes, for those watching, we have a GoFundMe account set up because myself and my co-host Richie are trying to get out to NAMM. We're a small channel. We're trying to get there, so donations are more than accepted. We also have a PayPal link as well. Every dollar helps. Yeah, covering these events isn't cheap, as you know, Adam. You know, plane travel and stuff. Fortunately, one of our viewers is letting us crash at his place in his jam space, so we're doing that, and he's going to help us out as far as getting back and forth to NAMM, which is awesome. But we're trying. Richie's getting married this year, and so we'll see. I think we're going to be there one way or the other. So,
well, you're going to need passes. So here's how I will help you. So if you need passes, you got to let me know like 2 months before my 100 requests come in. And I have to turn most people away. I have a limited number of passes, but if you need passes, I will get you the passes. You just got to get to me early.
Awesome. I will know well before then. I've got a buddy that has, he owns 3 mom and pop music stores. Yes, they still exist, folks. And he said he's got a few because of the size of his store, but he said, I'll try to get you guys in, but he usually takes, you know, like as reward to some of his better employees and stuff. And he said, if not, he said he'll try, but definitely. Thank you, Adam. That's awesome.
If you need them, I'll get them for you. You just got to give me advance notes.
Sure. Awesome. And let's see. Sully Dude says at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, they even play the Canadian national anthem before their NASCAR races.
Really?
That's correct. Yes. There and Michigan Speedway, they do that as well. I think because at Michigan, it's actually half Canadians in the stands for the Michigan race. There we go. Yeah, my cousin just said, Sully Dude, Michigan does also.
Nice.
The Michigan track's about 5.5, 6 hours for me to drive there, so it's not too bad. But we take the 20-hour drive down to Charlotte, North Carolina each year to fully immerse ourselves in NASCAR country.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, to get there, I'm sure you have to go right past FU. I believe we do. You do. You go straight down 95, right?
I believe so. Is it 95, Doug? He knows better than me. All I know is I take the 401, which is our Canadian interstate, I go as far as the Thousand Islands. I cross at Watertown, New York. I stay on that for hours on end and then hang a left at some point.
Well, next time you go down, I'm sure you go right past me. And I'm right there, right off 95.
Awesome. Awesome. Michael Smith, one more question for Adam. When did the idea of making a new pickup come about? And what was he going for as far as tone? Well, in all fairness, Michael missed the first half, so.
But I didn't touch on why a pickup.
That's true.
So a friend of mine in the industry is working on a pickup as well, and he's going to launch it probably end of the year or beginning of next year. And he would come up with formulas and have prototypes made, and I would, when I was at his place on the West Coast, he would go, try this, try that, try, you know, he would have 6 guitars lined up with the same pickup, each with, you know, a quarter resistance difference, you know, 13, 13 and a quarter, 13 and a half, 14, you know, and I would go down the line, and he's really digging in and putting a lot into this pickup. And I have a lot of boutique pickup winding friends. Mm-hmm. And I would start asking them, you know, hey, can you make me a pickup like this? Can you make me like that? And so I just started doing it myself just to I guess, figure out what I liked best. And then when I came up with my formula for this first pickup, for the first set, I said, you know what, I'm going to put these out. And I did.
Nice.
You know,
nice.
I ordered a production prototype and tried it. I loved it. And the guitar I use in the video to demo the pickups is the production sample pickups that I fell in love with. I said, I'm putting them out at a good price. And I want people to try these. You know?
Nice. Nice.
Footnote to that, you know, when I work with a lot of boutique pickup guys, I work with a lot of boutique amp guys, guitar guys. We're in the middle of a revolution again now. So back in the 70s, you know, you could play Fender or Gibson, you know, Les Pauls and Strats and Kellys, and, you know, everything else was like a low beat brand. And then a couple of guys started making really cool guitars out of their garages, which turned out to be Charvel, Jackson, you know, ESP came on, this one, that one, at the time, Robin. It was a revolution, and the big guys would look down at these little companies like, cares what you're doing.
Yeah.
But then they go, wait a minute, these guys are getting traction. The artists are playing these guitars. The guys that we want are playing these guitars. So then, of course, they go, we better go buy these companies and ruin them. But that was the revolution back then. And the revolution's happening again right now.
Right.
There's so many guys making great guitars, great pickups, great amps, great pedals. These boutique guys. And now that we have the internet, which we didn't have back then, you know about it. You know, you know about this guy. You know about guys like Sully guitars. Like I could rattle off a million of them. Mick Knott, Chub Tone. There's all these guys trying to build a better mousetrap. Well, what do they do? They need a better bridge. They need a better pickup. They need a better this, that. So this revolution is happening. And again, when you get companies that are doing, you know, $300 and $400 million a year, they're like, who cares what they're doing?
Sure.
Trust me, they better care, because people are hip to it. People are digging it. And these guys that are making better gear, I could tell you, are making it with passion, care, and better parts, and what you want. And that's who you should look into. Look close. You know, the level of these guys making the better gear is at an all-time high. And it's cool stuff. It's cool stuff.
Exactly. That's what I always think. Yeah, everyone says, you know, the guitar is dying. I'm like, there's too much cool stuff going on. Way too much.
Yeah, agreed.
see here. Zach asks, how does the tilt back headstock affect tone, like a Les Paul versus a Strat style?
I don't know that affects tone. I mean,
I'd say it affects sustain a bit, maybe.
I guess the only way that you could really answer that would be to measure that. You know, you take the same guitar with two different necks, you play it with a straight, you play it with a tilt back, and see what you get. I guess that, and to me, this might fall under the same thing as the spring illusion. You know, people swear by something that they're not sure why or understand the physics of. And my answer to that is, I don't know that it does, and I don't know that it doesn't.
There we go. Unspecified mojo.
Listen, everyone has a weird mojo, and as a hockey player and a guitar player, I'm crippled by superstition and bullshit. You know, I have to put my left skate on first. I have to run my strings backward with the ball end of the headstock.
Yep.
Because it sounds better? Of course not. It's my superstition.
Yep. I agree. That is the truth. And then let's see here. I saw one more. Adam, what is your opinion, from Dave Byron, on the best sounding pickup for metal to smooth blues? Ooh, that's quite the spectrum.
That is pretty insane. I got to tell you, there's a lot of good ones, and I will plug my own new pickup first.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I think the FU pickup gives you crushing metal tone and gives you a great clean and everything in between. Watch the demo. Go to my channel, find the pickup, and on the pickup page, there's the demo, or you could go to my YouTube channel and see the demo. But I'll also tell you, these boutique pickup guys like Pariah pickups, guys like Dominger pickups. I'll tell you who else is stellar. Amlifetano pickups. Amazing. These guys know way more about pickups than I do. You know, I designed a pickup that I thought was cool and that I think everyone else would dig at a reasonable price. But you could go even deeper with guys like Pariah, like Amlifetano, like Dominger. There's so many good ones. Sure. You know, OX4 I just saw out of England makes a great PAF style pickup. You know, this is part of the revolution. This is.
Yeah, in all fairness, and Dave Byron, you probably would actually. I know what he plays for music, and I think Adam's pickup would work really well for what he does.
Check it out. And with all the FU stuff, my stuff is 100% guaranteed. Yeah. You know, you don't like it, send it back.
Yeah. Well, there you go, folks. Can't ask for any more than that. We've got Ed Dana in the house. Good to see you, Ed. Awesome.
What's up?
Anyone else have any questions here? So a lot of maple syrup talk. Yeah. Oh, I opened a can on that one. So let's see here. Davis thanking us for the answers on the pickup stuff. R2R3 is praising you as the man when it comes to locking trims and pickups.
Oh, thank you, R2.
And Lando is asking, what's the channel name, Adam?
For YouTube, it's Floyd Upgrades, which was my old name that I had to change, but it's YouTube/Floyd Upgrades for YouTube still. But if you go to FU-TONE.com, you can get links to all of the social media. So my Facebook, my YouTube, my Instagram, and Twitter. There's links to all of them there. It's all some derivative of FU-TONE, FU_tone, FU-tone. So if you go to FU-tone.com, there's links to all of my channels. I got to tell you, I've been loving Instagram. You know, I don't know why I favor Instagram so much lately.
Because there's a lot less negativity on Instagram than other social media, it seems.
Yeah, I would go with that. I would definitely go with that, and it's, I don't know, I guess I'm getting a better response from it, but it's definitely really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think I started following you about 4 or 5 months ago on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. You know, because it's a nice. You have a great variety in your feed because you'll have tech stuff like here. You know, check out. Here's a new spring we're working on, but then it's like, oh yeah, you know, I helped out Buddy before a gig, and you're backstage somewhere, and we're like, humana. That's cool. Okay, yeah. There's stuff like that. There we go. Bruce just put your link to your YouTube channel in the chat. So.
Oh, thanks. I hope it's the right one.
Yeah, I see YouTube/user/Floyd UPG ... So I'm going to assume it's the Floyd Upgrade channel.
Yeah, I'll send it all to you after. Or if there's any question, go to fu-tone.com and there's a link to everything.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm trying to make better videos now. We just moved the office again to a bigger place this past week.
Mm-hmm.
So I now have a dedicated media room with all the lights and cameras, mics, and I try to make better videos to get the info out there, you know, not just plug my gear. I try to make it instructional, you know, here's how to do this, here's how to do that. You know, I have this info, let me share it with you.
Right. Whereas it used to be so secretive back in the day, you know.
And I think it was just lack of effort to get that information out there. I mean, people just assumed, you know, oh, here's how you do, here's what to do. Here's your new gear. Good luck.
Mm-hmm. I remember I was talking with a rep last weekend from a company, and I'm not going to say the company's name, but as we were trying their product, we were filming each other, my buddy and me, and they said, "What are you doing with those videos?" And I said, "Well, I have a YouTube channel." And he's like, "Well, I would rather you not put the videos up because we do our own videos." And I went, "Fair enough." I said, "You know, I wouldn't tag you or in it or anything else. My own personal channel, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Well, you know, we work hard on these videos." And he was really pushing it. And it was in a non-sales manner. And I couldn't help it. And I turned to him and I said, "Yeah, you do great videos that you released 4 months after the product's released. And there's 1,000 guys like me that have already reviewed it. And guess whose people's opinions are you going by? Not yours, sir."
Yeah, that's a shame. People don't get it. And that's a pet peeve of mine, too. I don't put out a video or a picture or even information on a product unless it's sitting on my shelf that I can get it out to people.
Well, that's the scary part is like it doesn't take more than a week to produce a little 4-minute YouTube video. I don't care who you are, and these companies have these guitars for up to months in advance of release. Why aren't they're just the logistics of it? They say they're in sales and marketing, but they're not really marketing the product. They're still marketing it like it's 1966. Look at the picture in the catalog. Give me a call. I'll hook you up.
So I'll use the pickup as an example. If you go to the FU-TONE page and go to pickups and then click on one of the new pickups, you'll see the still photos of the pickups, the content, the description, the video, all on the same page. The whole shebang.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. The pickups came in, and when they came in, literally, I threw them on the table where I have the lights and the camera, shot the pictures, I plugged the guitar in, set the mics up, did the video. I did 2 passes at the video. I went in my office, I wrote the copy, uploaded it to the site, uploaded the video, created the page. I would say start to finish from the time I opened the box with the pickups to the time it was on my page. And because I said I'm going to do it that day, probably about 2 to 3 hours.
Wow.
So it's not,
yeah.
It was a 6 or 7 minute video.
Mm-hmm.
I, in all fairness, I did only do a 1-camera shoot with that video. Some of my newer videos, I'm doing a 2-camera shoot where I do the still, and then I have a GoPro like sweeping in on stuff.
Sure.
that takes a little bit more time editing, but I wanted to get this video done pretty quick because I wanted to get the pickups out. So I stuck with the one camera. And, you know, in a few hours, it was done. So you don't, and I'm not even that good at it.
Right.
You know, I still fumble a little bit with the editing, and, you know, sometimes something's not working or lining up right. It's, you know, you just give a little effort and you'll get a good result.
There we go. Dave Byron says, I just subscribed to your channel, Adam. Like what I see. You will have a customer, sir.
Ah, thank you. That's sweet. And if you have any questions or need help, feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah. Let's see. Blackie DH says, ask Adam, best upgrade for a Wolfgang standard. Thanks. Just scored one cheap looking to upgrade it.
Okay. There's a catch-22 on the Wolfgang standard, but it's not a big deal. So again, in order of importance, same as before, big block, insert, saddle inserts, spring, claw, hardware. But catch-22. The Wolfgang standard, when you take the bridge off of the guitar, the route is different than a standard route. And I'll show you what I mean by it. I'm gonna be crude and draw a little.
Oh, high tech here, folks.
Very high tech. No, I wish I had like one of those teleprompter screens, like in sports.
Yep.
And I could just draw on it. So, a normal pickup route. Excuse my drawing. A normal pickup route is a rectangle, like that.
Mm-hmm.
The Wolfgang standard pickup route, again, excuse my drawing, is this little guy here. So it's what I like to do, and this is an exaggerated drawing. What I like to do is I shave this little lip to make it a rectangle. So once you shave off this part, it becomes that same rectangle above.
Right.
And the way I do this, very simple. First, a tip: put tape over your pickups so you don't get sawdust on it. And I have a Dremel tool. If you don't have one, someone you know has one, because everyone has a Dremel. And I use the little round sanding disc. And I take the Dremel and I just put it right in here, and I just shave this edge. I go back and forth lightly on it. Don't gouge it.
Yeah.
Just run right along this edge until it fills in to make a rectangle shape. Only on the standard. This is the only guitar you have to do this on. All the Jacksons, the Charvels, the EVH standard, the regular Wolfgang, they all have the regular rectangle route.
Right.
But that little weird route on the standard, oversight on their part. Believe me, I've talked to them about it. And it comes up because I upgrade a lot of those guitars.
Right.
So, you know, not that I make a habit of it, but I let guys send guitars in for me to do the work on.
Mm-hmm.
My rule of thumb with that is I have to schedule it with you. You know, it has to all work out, and timing-wise, if I have time to do it. But I do them, so it's always an option. You could reach out to me via email. But making that simple mod, when you lift the bridge off of that guitar, if I were to say to you, how would you make that shape a rectangle? You go, oh, you just shave this lower edge.
Right.
So very simple mod.
There we go.
Only for the standard.
Only for the standard. There you go, folks. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. So, awesome. Awesome.
How do you like this drawing? Not too shabby.
Love it. High tech right there. There's the thumbnail, folks. Awesome. No, you don't want to shave the block, Blackie. That kind of defeats the purpose of having an oversized block.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally shaving off like a 16th or an eighth of an inch of the wood there. I mean, once I get the Dremel in there and I start going back and forth, I mean, it's 2 minutes.
No time. Yeah.
2 minutes of doing passes.
Yes, and recently I think you did a mutual friend of the channel. I'm trying to think. Somebody bought a Wolfgang from Greenwich Music.
Oh yeah.
And it was like they were going to buy some of the upgrades of your stuff, and they're like, "Well, Adam's going to be in the shop doing some stuff. Do you want us to just?" And he's like, "Wait, what? I could have Adam FU-TONE my guitar." He's like, "Okay." It's just the name of who that was has escaped me. It was in the last couple of months. I remember that.
I remember doing that too. It was, and I go up there. Joe Sum is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I go up there and I'll upgrade a handful of guitars for him. And you know, some guys, some mom and pops really go the extra mile, you know, to compete. And Joe is a great guy. Greenwich Music's a great place. He'll upgrade guitars that are on the wall, or he'll take a custom order to do that. My friend at CMC Guitars does the same thing.
Right.
Custom Metal Classic in Vineland, New Jersey. So CMC and Greenwich Music, I can tell you, get in touch with both of those guys for all like Jackson, Charvel, EVH. I know CMC does PRS. I think Joe Suma does PRS as well. Yeah. It's a great service, and it's a, you know, how many guys sell Wolfgang guitars?
We are exactly
thousands.
Yeah.
So these guys set themselves apart, man. And you know, so many of the guys come to me anyway to get the stuff. But if you could get your guitar preloaded.
Sure.
Much water.
Well, it like goes back to like when we were talking earlier about the custom shops. You know, it just makes sense to me. And yeah, Bruce says, was it Carlos Figueroa? It might have been Carlos.
I think that sounds familiar. I did a bunch of them for Night up there. I think the one in question, I think, was like a light blue.
Yeah, I think the frost blue, maybe.
Yeah. I remember doing that because Joe told me. He said, "Oh, he's so excited you're going to do his guitar." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome! I'm as excited as he is." I said, "Here, take a picture with the guitar."
Yep. Which proof, once again, folks, we're all nerds. We're all just a bunch of nerds.
Complete nerds. And I could tell you this: most of my pro guys that I work with are equally nerdy. Yep. You know, that are totally down with gear and new stuff.
Yep.
I'm going to see Phil Collin tomorrow, and anytime I show him something, he's like, "No way! Oh my god! You know, I gotta have that."
Yep.
You know,
and you see that I watch a lot of those rig rundowns, you know, and you'll see a lot of the bigger bands. They'll have their guitar tech do it, but then like Phil, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, and I got this, and it's awesome," and it's, you know, and it's always funny too because they always play 1 to 2 guitars. It's either a prototype of a signature guitar from 20 years ago that they're still playing, or it's the newest, whatever the newest is. You know, and I'm guilty of that too. You buy a new guitar, the others just get put aside for a good month and a half.
Oh, for sure. Can I have that charger? Yeah, so many of my guys are guilty of this insanity. And, you know, we'll call each other up or send each other a text or a picture. Like, see this? Oh, my God, look at this. No way. You know, how do I get that? And it's shocking to me that, you know, here's like this iconic guitar player who's just another nerd that I could have went to high school with and said, "Sure, come on, man, let's go down to the music store and play guitars."
Exactly. Let's see here. Dave Byron asks, what's your opinion on the Ibanez Edge trim and hardware?
So the thought process behind the Ibanez Edge trim is a good one. But the Ibanez Edge Pro, Edge 3 has the weakest block out of them all. You get such a tonal return by just changing the block on that edge. I sell so many of those edge tremolo blocks. You know, super easy install and just they're.
Oh, I think you froze up there, Adam. Well, there we are, folks. Let's give it a sec here. Awesome stuff. Oh,
I'm back.
I got two of you now. Well, that works. I got a frozen you and a non-frozen you. Sure.
Here's the real me.
There we go. There we go.
So Ibanez, I don't know where I got cut off, but that block is so weak and just the worst sounding block there is. But I like the idea behind the tremolos. So they have great design ideas and they cheap out on the block because it's the thinnest, lightest pot metal block you will ever see out of all the tremolos. And again, I'm fine with that because my people love them. And they make a great guitar. They make great guitars.
Yeah. And
put that weak block in it. Again, it's the syndrome of having a Ferrari with used tires on it.
Yep. Dave Byron says he's given top secret stuff. Maybe that's why it froze.
Yeah, Ibanez hacked and they didn't like me trashing the edge tremolo. But I did say the guitars are awesome.
Yeah. Let's see here. I've lost a spot here. Scott Nickerson, I want to get FU-TONE upgrades on a Strat Elite.
I'm not sure which bridge is on the Strat Elite off the top of my head. So if you could write in, is it a 6-point tremolo or
I think it's the 2. I think it's the 2-point.
It depends also where it's made and if it's a push-in or screw-in arm. But if you go to my page where it says blocks ST, that's for Strat, because I'm not allowed to say the word Strat,
right?
Even with a legal disclaimer saying FU-TONE is not Fender, blah, 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 blah. Believe me, I got a letter for that as well. So, I work with them on other stuff with D-Tuner. I'm like, don't you know I do business with you? I'm the D-Tuner guy.
Yeah.
And the lawyer guy's like, I don't give a shit. But okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if you go to my page that says Big Blocks ST, there's 4 blocks there. There's the import, the Mexican, the 2-point, and the USA. And I give the specs inside on each. So you could, if it's not clear to you there, you could email me directly through the site or adam@fu-tone.com. Send me front and back pictures of your bridge and where your guitar was made, and I can tell you which block you need.
There we go. Michael Smith says he bought a PV Wolfgang off Johnny Beane, and he had Dave Nesdahl install one of your blocks in it. The tonal difference is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I remember when Nesdahl reached out to me for that block. I do recall that. So very cool. Very
See,
cool.
that's the world of small worlds. Like how many, things we'll touch on just, the amount of people that are even watching me on this channel type thing. And it's a small world.
It's a small world, but I wouldn't want to paint it.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
And it's very small, especially in this industry. It's a small world, is right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Timothy Pierce says, Jay told me earlier this week he wanted a big brass block for a Wilkinson feel.
Wilkinson feel or for a Wilkinson bridge?
A Wilkinson feel. Like, I don't know. I haven't played a Wilkinson bridge much, so I'm just wondering if it feels like a little heavier feeling trem.
Maybe I get requests for the Wilkinson blocks, and eventually I will do it. I have a couple other blocks in the works. Here, I'll let you in on the next secret block. No, yeah, I can, because I'll have the prototype done this week for approval, and if I put the approval on it, I'll have them in a couple weeks. So I'll have blocks for the PRS guitars in the next 2 weeks or so.
Nice.
I got a ton of requests for that, and I've been working on it. And did a lot of research. I found the two most popular PRS tremolos, and I designed and made a block for each of those.
Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Well, I think we've gone 2 hours here, sir. So I think I'm gonna wrap things up here, folks. Again, thanks for everyone that tuned in. This is awesome stuff.
I gotta thank you, man. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure, and I had a great time just geeking and nerding with you. Please awesome, tag me and tag FU. Do you do a rebroadcast where this will be up?
Yeah, this will be up on YouTube going forward.
Send me the link, and I'll put it up on all the FU stuff, and I'd love to chat with you again sometime.
Oh, for sure, man. Anytime. So
email me your address I'm going to send you a pickup for your guitar. I want you to try them.
For sure. Guaranteed. Done.
Easy enough.
Yeah. Thanks everyone that tuned in tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate each and every one of you. If you don't mind leaving a thumbs up, they're free of charge. If you're new to the channels, hit that subscribe button and make sure the bell looks like it's ringing so you get notified whenever I upload something or go live. Excuse me. We got links down below. I've got a couple channel sponsors, Renofin.ca guitars, Travis out of BC hand builds guitars. We got Arden's Music. They've been helping us out on the channel a lot. We got the GoFundMe. We got the PayPal to help get Richie and me to NAMM, which is awesome, guys. Of course, I want to thank Adam for coming on and doing this. It was awesome hangout. I learned a ton tonight. It's great. So if you just stay on the line, Adam, and we'll wrap things up here. So until next time, folks, always hold that door open for somebody. Let that guy in ahead of you in traffic. He's obviously in a hurry if he's weaving the way he is. You see that random shopping cart in the parking lot? Put it back in the cart lot. It's just do good things. And good things will happen to you. So be well, stay safe, everybody. Rock on. Have yourselves an awesome night. Love each and every one of you. Cheers.